I guess since we're here, I'll go ahead and give my take on it on the Bryce Young situation. So in comparison to C.J. Stroud and Anthony Richardson, not to take anything away from those guys, they've been playing amazing, and I think that simply boils down to their coaching versus our coaching. I had this conversation with Tavian. When was it, Tavian? Last night or night before last or something like that? We talked about the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, last night.
And so me and him were both under the belief that, it's not under the belief. I think that it's damn near a fact that DeMeco Ryans is a better coach than Frank Wright. And what is his name? Shane Steichen. That is name. I don't know if I pronounced it right. He's a better coach than Frank Wright. At least that's what they've shown so far. And if you go and even just cut on the highlights of those two rookie quarterbacks, their coaches is giving them the leeway to let them off the hook. Like, if I'm a coach, I need to design my play calling. I need to design that to the ability of my quarterback. I need to design that to where I know this is what he did in college. If you go look at Anthony Richardson on the Colts, of course he's running in 2 touchdowns a game. They designed it for him that way. You have the ability to do that, and also we're going to give you the green light to do that because that's the way that you play your whole life. C.J. Stroud, he's slinging the ball all over the field. That's the same thing that he did at Ohio State. He wasn't a real big running quarterback, but he had great receivers around him, and the coach let him off the leash. You sling the ball over the field. That's what you do. But we have Frank Wright, which in the first couple of games, I'm going to run the ball the first 2 plays of the drive and get you set behind the sticks. And so now we have to go and call a BS pass play to try to even move the chains a little bit. And so to me, that has all attributed to Bryce Young looking the way he's looked. And my thing is like, I'm not trying to shoot him any bail. I just feel like we haven't seen a larger sample size. And I also just feel like if Bryce Young was to throw the ball 58 times like Andy Dalton did, I am truly under the belief that he would have put up better numbers. And just from a numbers standpoint, if you go look at the completion rating, or the passer rating and completion percentage, even though Andy Dalton was throwing the ball all over the field, Bryce still had higher numbers in that stat in his previous week. So I think it all boils down to Frank Wright doesn't know how to necessarily coach Bryce Young as of yet, or at least he hasn't figured that out. Because at this point, if we can see that the offense looks somewhat different when we're throwing the ball, then why not call that same offense when it comes to Bryce being on the field? Because I think he's just a talented arm talent as Andy Dalton. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would definitely say, to your point, it's more of an inability for us to move the ball in play calling rather than just, Bryce Young's talent.
Put it this way, and I'm going to tell you just like I'm going to tell Terrence. Until the little motherfucker show me something, he ain't worth shit.
So
that's how I see it. Simple
what would you like him to dump? Put 400 yards up in his first NFL game ever. Or week 2, would you like him to put 300 yards up against what is looking to be a top 3 defense in the NFL right now?
I would have liked him in week 1 to not make the same mistake twice, which we saw him do against Jesse Bates.
Mm-hmm.
I would have liked him to get rid of the ball a little bit quicker in week 2 against New Orleans, where you can make the argument that the O-line broke down or whatever may have you. But cool, there were numerous occasions where I look downfield and there's receivers open. Everybody wants to talk about this receiving core. But, there's no way in hell that the receiving core is that much better when Andy Dalton is on the field in comparison to Bryce Young. So there's a lot of things that I would have liked him to do.
I don't think they were necessarily better. It was just I literally think Andy Dalton went, as much as Frank Wright want to say that, I called in 2 extra plays here and there to throw the ball down the field. Andy Dalton gave me his specifics. Like, I am under the belief that Andy Dalton's specifics included a lot more of throwing the ball downfield. if he wasn't the veteran that he was and would have been able to give Frank Wright that information, then the play calling would have looked the exact same in the previous week.
So then I will ask you a question on why the fuck Bryce Young ain't making the same request.
Because
you're the number one pick, and you know you have the keys to this franchise.
But he holds zero weight. He holds zero weight when it comes to play calling, man. That is absolutely
compared to Andy Dalton. Yes,
I'm just simply not agreeing with that.
I mean,
you saying that Bryce Young holds no weight when he was the number one overall pick, and the franchise deemed him as the next franchise quarterback. He holds all the weight. Mm-hmm. And I can go back all the way to draft night, because then we have a deeper, darker conversation, which is typically the case on this podcast. But then I would even ask you, if he holds no weight, then what the fuck is going on in the organization? Because I sat there and watched the Houston Texans ask the nigga C.J. Stroud, what receiver do you want to bring in this bitch? And he said Tank Dell. And what the fuck did Houston do? Bring Tank Dell in.
Well,
so, I mean,
that has zero correlation to play calling.
You crucify the organization every chance you get. Sorry to cut you off, Taven. You crucify the organization to every chance you get. So what makes you think all of a sudden in this situation that the organization is doing the right thing when they ain't did shit right in the past 3 years? Because you done got away from Uncle Scott and all of that. If they made you go that far to stop calling this nigga your fucking uncle, to now you think all of a sudden, oh, they're letting Bryce Young call the shots. And they gave Matt Rule an 8-year contract and didn't fire him until we were damn near 3 years down the drain. Now all of a sudden, here, Bryce Young, you call everything. Like, it's not even translating well.
I mean, I think y'all are looking way too deep into it, to be honest. I think the answer is as simple as the little motherfucker can't see that far down the field. That's why he ain't throwing that bitch that far.
That's dumb, Tavy.
Yeah, I was about to say. I ain't gonna lie. We could have did without that comment. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, you just fucking fuck the validity and fucking purity of this podcast to hell right now. I mean, let's be serious. It has nothing to do with the sight thing. It has everything to do with the fact that he done got touched on his chin a couple times. He's jittery back there, and anytime he feels inkling of pressure, he's trying to skedaddle and get out of the fucking pocket. And niggas don't have the speed nor the ability to win the routes downfield for him to make the throws.
Well, you know what
that's what it is. Because, yeah, like I just told Terrence, I seen Andy Dalton the whole fucking game stand in that pocket, let his nuts hang, and time after time again deliver every single pass in a big moment that we needed him to deliver.
Here's why I say to that.
And what did you credit that to? What did you credit that to? His ability to do that. What did you credit it to? His veteran presence.
I accredit it to the nigga not being pussy in the pocket.
No, I accredit it to the nigga is old as hell at the tail end of his career. What the fuck does he have to lose? What does he have to lose?
What the fuck does Bryce got to lose? You ain't going nowhere, nigga.
He just
it ain't like we got a damn first-round pick to go get another quarterback.
And that's what I'm telling you in the whole franchise. I don't understand why everybody is in such this big uproar. This is why I'll go back to the fact that the expectations were too high. Y'all are mad and wanting to ship Bryce Young out. What choice do you?
I didn't say ship him out.
What choice do you have at this point? You not like a winning franchise like Philly or Dallas, where it's like, oh, I can crucify the quarterback because I'm so used to winning. We ain't used to winning shit. So as far as I'm concerned, everybody need to sit back. This is the decision we made. There's no point of everybody trying to slander him, push him out of the organization when, quite frankly, if I was him, I don't even know if I would want to be playing for the fucking organization. So what I got to say is be thankful.
I mean, realistically, imagine me being thankful. For matter of fact, go ahead. Yeah, do you have anything?
So JJ, let's not act like we're not 21 days into the NFL, into the season.
I mean, yeah, you're right, bro.
You're calling for our number one quarterback, his head already, and we're 21 days into the season.
Yeah, I absolutely am. And like I just told the podcast, I don't need to see him until week 8. Because if his confidence, and I'm going to tell you why. Because if his confidence is already shot and he's already jittery in the pocket, when we go see Detroit, who already done clipped Kansas City this year, and when we go see Miami, who just put up 70, if niggas think his confidence is shot right now, he might need to call the fucking hotline.
Well,
after they do what the fuck they gonna do to us.
I would take that back to that statement you made about how so good this offensive line was in the preseason.
And then of course, we back at the fucking offensive line.
Because that's what, is that not what he got on here and said?
Yeah.
Is that not what he got on here and said?
Don't worry. He said, don't worry. It's only week 2 of the preseason, whenever the fuck it was, right? He said it'll be better when old boy comes back. They said they're going to be a cohesive unit. They're going to be returning to form as one of the top units in the league. Can we clip that video too?
And now all of a sudden, you bringing up situations about your quarterback being jittery in the pocket when he done got teed off 10 times in a fucking preseason game. Who wouldn't be jittery back there? Because I know I'm not playing against second string no more. You think he jittery now? Wait until he line up in front of Michael Parsons.
But the validity,
he might not need to fucking play that game either.
Well,
the validity in the statement though is because the clock is ticking for Bryce because of the 2 quarterbacks who was drafted right after him. And we are 21 days into the season, but they're already performing 21 days.
And one is stretched.
No, okay, cool. One is stretched. One is stretched. Yet he's played better than Bryce Young.
Two of them are stretched.
Every
Bryce
time
didn't
we
play
play
neither.
Cool. One is stretched, the one that you're referencing, and he still looked better than Bryce Young in the game that he got stretched.
Cool.
And in the game he got stretched, he looked better than Bryce Young week 2. He looked better than Bryce Young week 1. And CJ Stroud, any game you want to pick from his arsenal so far, he's looked better than Bryce Young. So the time is ticking. So yes, Yak, to answer your question, do I want his head? Yeah, because at the end of the day, this nigga was the number 1 overall pick. And up until this point, he hasn't looked like it. And niggas want to tell me about Peyton Manning and what the fuck that old bastard did. But at the end of the day, I understand what this draft class had. I understand that based on rumors that I've heard from a very, very, very reliable source who I believe has some kind of insight on what's going on inside the building, they let Steve Wilkes go because he wanted Anthony Richardson. Okay, cool. And so Frank Reich came in here and became a fucking yes man because I believe that the whole organization wanted Bryce from the rip. He became a yes man, and up until this point, Bryce Young ain't showed me a motherfucking bitch ass thing. Simple as that.
He's played 8 quarters in the NFL. 8 quarters.
Well, that motherfucker in the next 8, he better show me something. Because if not, the nigga got a problem with me now. Bitch, just wait. Just wait. And I don't care what kind of viewership we lose. I don't give a motherfuck if he like me or not. I don't give a fuck if he see me at training camp and do whatever he gonna do. It is what it is. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, this is the motherfucker that we chose to be the number 1 overall pick. And he ain't showed me shit to show me that he deserves it. And the 2 quarterbacks that were taken after him have played far, far, far better football than I've seen even remotely close from Bryce Young.
Well, only time will tell. Only time will tell. So you remember this statement you are making right now. And next year at this time, or let's even say 8 weeks at this time, pull this clip back up and you can say you were either right or you were looking like a dumbass.
That's what I be trying to tell him. Yeah, and it's usually the last word.
Hey, and put it this way: 8 weeks from now, guess what? We play the fucking Dallas Cowboys, so I already know what the fuck time I'm gonna be on. Because I know that if he don't get stretched, he's gonna be so fucking happy-footed in the pocket that he may complete 15 passes. And he better not even remotely even think about trying Stephon Gilmore's side of the field. He better try the other bitch that's Diggs backup. He better try him.
Well, they look pretty sweet this past week.
If not, the way I'm talking shit about him right now is not even remotely close to what I'll have to say 11, 12 weeks into the season. But y'all keep shooting them bail. Y'all keep being okay with mediocre play. Y'all keep, you know what I'm saying, keep giving niggas passes. Cool. Cool. It's no problem. I get it. Thank you for your time, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Appreciate
I'll
it.
catch y'all later. I'll catch y'all later.
All right, bet. Well, we had the Bryce Young conversation.